Go ahead. Put it in your mouth.
Welcome, everyone, to the Brightside with Mikey and Rachel, and I'm Rachel.
No. Shh.
And I'm eating pretzels.
You're just snacking away. I get it. That's fine.
I'm feeling a little snacky
Trying to be a
today, you guys.
professional here.
You know what's funny is I actually got these pretzels for Christmas in like my gift bag. We don't do Brett's mom doesn't do stockings. She does gift bags. I thought they were just regular pretzels, and then I put them in my mouth. I realized that they're tomato basil with balsamic vinegar and spices.
It's pronounced basil and vingager.
Basil and what?
Vingager.
Gagger?
Vingager. Yeah.
How are you? Hello. Good morning. Afternoon? What time is it there? Where are you?
It's 9:20 in Madrid, España.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, it's good. It's not bad. It's not bad. Go ahead and do the intro one more time. Hey, everybody. It's the Brightside with Mikey and Rachel. I'm Rachel. I'm Mikey.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Lindy Hop sometimes, our opinions, and basically whatever we want to talk about.
I like the addition of the sometimes. Lindy Hop sometimes. And pretty much anything else we talk about. Because that is completely
so true.
I think someone just sent me a message the other day. It's like, man, you guys talk a lot. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, oh, I just got done with like 4 episodes. And I was like, I feel so sorry for you.
I feel sorry for you. Why would you torture yourself like that?
Yeah, for 4 hours, like 4 hours plus, because usually we go over an hour.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of us time.
Sometimes I have a hard time dealing with myself for 4 hours throughout the day, like during a regular day.
I could tell. You know how I could usually tell is how your hair is at the end of the day.
Really?
Or if your hair is just like a fucking like disaster zone, then you know it's been a rough day. But if it's like if it's doing what it's doing right now, like which is like it's just bean. It's just a bean.
Flip flopping everywhere.
It's just flippity flopping everywhere, and I feel like it's been a relaxing day for you.
Yeah, we can call it that.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been a relativity.
There? What time is it over there?
12:25 p.m. lunchtime.
Jeez.
I'll have another pretzel. Thank you.
Just beginning the day.
Yeah.
And I love that you're just doing it on like you're doing it with you like bring the microphone closer as soon as you start chewing. Like you bring it away as you put the pretzel in your mouth, and then bring it closer as you get chewing. Okay,
but here's the thing: I think I'm doing this as a subconscious experiment, which is sometimes when you hear people chew, it sounds really gross. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's like you're in my head right now. Like I
Get
feel
out
like
of
that.
my
I
head.
feel something sort of like that right now. It's insane. But continue. Go ahead. Please,
I guess
continue.
I just want to know if I'm one of those people. because it sounds a certain way in my head. But
why don't you let us know? Why don't you out there who's listening, just let us know if the sound of someone chewing on pretzels, no doubt, the crunchiest of all snacks. Let us know down below in the comments. Let us know. Is this annoying? Rachel, go ahead. Go ahead. Try it. Let us know if that's annoying, and we'll let you know if we care or not.
But do you know what I mean? Like when you hear yourself on a recording, you're like, oh, that sounds a lot different than how it sounds in my head.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually trying, especially I listened to 2 of our last podcasts, almost back to back on a plane ride. Just because
I'm sorry
I was like,
for you.
I know. It was insane.
For me too.
And the one thing I was like, oh, shit. I speak a little bit too much like this and a little too fast. So then it kind of mumbles out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to slow down and I'm trying to enunciate better and speak from my diaphragm. My duty fram. My diaphragm. Because if my diaphragm had a couple other members, it'd be a duyap group.
Oh God. Wah, wah.
I am so filled with dad jokes this past 2 weeks. It's been insane.
That's sad. Don't do that.
I know. I love my jokes. I think they're hilarious. But here's the thing. I was just talking to someone else the other day. It's like, are you alone a lot? I'm like, Oh, that is
That-
the point.
that is
Like
so
I'm
true.
alone too much, and I've just become accustomed to my own like comedy. That I mean, whatever you might call it, comedy, but my jokes.
Let's call them jokes. I don't know if it could qualify for comedy.
I did watch a comedy last night though.
Really?
Yeah, stand up. I watched Joe Coy.
I don't know who that is.
He's a Filipino guy who's a stand-up comedian, and I watched him like forever ago. He had like can't remember if it was HBO or if it was like Comedy Central stand-up special.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was really, really good. And I loved his delivery, and it was so like life experiences where it just sounded real. Like it didn't sound like he was telling a story. It just sounded like he just rolled into this, and it's like, and then one thing led to another. You know, it sounded very organic. And I listened to, and I haven't watched him in such a long time, and it was fucking like 5 or 6 years now. And then he just had one on Netflix, and I was like, oh shit, he's so good.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What
are you up to? What are you up to, girl?
Oh man, I've been up to so much stuff. I've been
Great.
mega.
So let's just move on.
Let's
then.
move on. Let's just dive right in, shall we?
I mean, let's just drive it. Just drive head first into your issues. Go ahead,
into
Rachel.
my issues. Well, no, I mean, like, oh man, I have to say, like, my job has been totally exhausting because I haven't had like a home cafe. I'm like moving back and forth between 2 cafes.
You're a floater.
I'm a floater.
Yeah.
Just like in the potty. And
you made legitimately, you made snot come out of my nose with that one. And I was like, oh God, she can see me on the FaceTime. I'm gonna go over here. Oh my God.
oh, that's hilarious. But because of that, like, I don't get 2 days off in a row, and like my schedule is like not consistent, and it's all over the place.
Right.
And I don't receive emails from either cafe because I'm not a part of either cafe, so I'm not in the loop of what's going on.
Right.
And so I'll show up and be like, what is this new thing that we're doing? And everybody's like, oh yeah, it's this thing. Didn't you get the email? And I'm like, no, I didn't get the email. And then, but no one will explain the process to me. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Can someone explain something to me? And then,
Rach.
I know it's been so not fun. But I just found out earlier this week that I am officially getting transferred to another location that is opening soon, which is like the closest one to my house. So that'll be good.
That's good. I mean, you're going to be in the bar, or are you going to be set it up? Like
yeah,
you were
no.
before?
I'm going to be on the bar.
Oh, okay, cool. How long do you think it'll be?
Barista. Until I quit, probably.
I know how long.
Forever.
I meant
Until the day that I die, I'll be there.
I meant how long till you move there.
How long
I mean, I think
until
your
I
mind
move
is already
there?
to the end. Your mind is already to the end. It's like, I'll be there.
How long until I move there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
This cafe was actually one of the cafes I was working on when I was opening up those stores.
Right.
But it had like a bunch of delays. Like there was a ton of like electrical issues and stuff. And I think they were like trying to have some building inspections this week. I don't know how that went, but if they pass the building inspection, then they can have their final health inspection. And when they have their final health inspection, then they can open. But they have to pass the building inspection, and then they have to pass the health inspection.
Oh man, all the glamorous inner workings of Blue Bottle.
I know, it's
and coffee making.
It's cray-cray,
Hey
right?
guys, listen, coffee making is not about making little cat faces or happy people on the foam
I don't
of
make
your
any cat
fucking
faces, and I don't make any
cappuccino
foam.
latte. If Rachel was to ever make a cat face on a foam, she would do it at home, damn it.
Nope.
Not even at home. No, never mind.
No foam.
Anyways.
No foam.
No
foam ever.
No foam art ever?
No foam art ever.
Rachel, have you ever thought about it? Make your life so much better.
No. Just
there was such a finally sound, like a final sound in your voice that I could see the period. No.
no. No.
Okay, so let's move into the whole topic of today.
Alive and kicking.
Alive and Kicking, the documentary produced and directed and written basically by Susan Glatzer. I never know how to say her
Heart
name.
of the tribe.
I apologize.
Glatzer.
Heart of the tribe. That's Jew. So Susan Glatzer, she went to which festival was it? Which one was it? Which
South by
film
Southwest?
festival? She went South by Southwest and then got picked up by Magnolia Pictures.
Yeah.
Which is actually big time because they do a lot of independent films and documentaries like this.
Yeah.
And that's a good what's it called? The distributing company, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a legit distributing company.
Yeah. And so she released it, and it was that was back like 2 months ago, right? 2 or 3 months ago.
That she got picked
South by
up?
Southwest.
South by
Yeah.
Southwest is in the summer. So that was like
Oh,
last
fuck.
July or something.
Jesus. Okay, awesome. So then, she got picked up,
Welcome
and
to
it
the
just,
party.
I don't know where I am anymore. And it came out, and it's been getting lots of reviews, and lots of swing dancers are going out to see it, which is awesome, of course.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do our review on it.
Review time. We're gonna review some movies today. Hey.
Full disclosure: Rachel really wants music on the show a lot more, and she wants to put some music in there. But I'm like constantly like, Rachel, but you do so great as our musical.
I want a musical
producer.
I want a musical intro.
I mean, you just want music on the show. Let's be honest.
I do. I mean, like, I sing and dance throughout most of my day anyway.
And snack on pretzels.
And snack on pretzels. Well, I don't usually snack on pretzels. I don't usually get to snack because I'm at work. But, okay.
Anyways.
Wait, no, before we get started, I just have to tell you. Have you ever eaten a Honeycrisp apple?
Is that the green one or the red one?
It's a pink apple.
Oh, maybe not.
I mean,
No,
it's
tell me
like
more.
it's like kind of pink, kind of yellow, kind of green.
Okay.
It's like a mix.
Maybe. I mean, they're all apples to me, but go ahead.
Okay, whatever. You're
Apples
ridiculous.
to apples. I mean,
I was in Seattle, hanging out with Jess Keener, and she introduced me to Honeycrisp apples. I love you so much, Jess. Thank you for the Honeycrisp
Jesus.
apples. Okay, no, seriously though, that apple was like one of the best apples I've ever eaten in my life. We ate Honeycrisp apple with freshly ground almond butter. Wow, it was transformative to my life. And so now every day at work, because we serve fresh ground almond butter at my job, and it's salty and stuff, it's so yummy. I eat a Honeycrisp apple every day with almond butter and sometimes with some quince jam, and it is the best moments of my life. This is so delicious.
I mean that whole description of what you ate, I can like literally see the beanie being worn by the hipster eating that so much.
I don't think I've ever worn a beanie, even though
not
Blue
you, just
Bottle
how you were,
gave
just
me a
how you were
beanie.
doing it.
But I don't wear it. It's too
of the
big for my
hipster.
head. It's way
You do
too
have a
big for
tiny
my
pinhead.
head. It's a pinhead. It's a pinhead.
So, anyways,
Anyway, we're reviewing a movie.
Can you guys tell Rachel hasn't been on a microphone for a while?
Oh my god!
To be fair, neither have I. So I mean, like,
We got to get it all
that's
out
why,
while we can.
Gonna
You know
get it all
what I
out.
mean?
That's why we're gonna do 2 back to back today, and then we'll release it a week
I
at a
mean,
time.
here's to hoping.
So, live and kicking. If you don't know who Susan Glatzer is, that's fine.
Glatzer.
Glatzer, sorry, damn it, I'm gonna do that a lot. Glatzer is a spunky redheaded woman running around with a camera in your
blonde.
face. In the last, is it red? I thought it was
blonde.
red. It's like red. When I first met her, all I thought was red.
Really, it's blonde.
It's red.
Whatever.
Spunky haired woman.
She's very spunky.
Is running around with a camera in your face, and if you especially been around the United States, then you saw her at a certain dance events. But anyways, so this whole documentary came out, and to be honest, like a quick review, I was ready to rip it up, and I was like pleasantly surprised with how well it told its story. And its story is kind of funny because like it's not my story, it's not your story, but that's the point. It's from the point of view of certain dancers out there, and it's from. I mean, this is ridiculous how loud that is.
Oh, my chewing?
Yeah, I'm with you, and then I'm just like, okay, ignore it, it'll be fine. And then I was like, oh shit, it's in the microphone.
I'm sorry, I won't eat anymore.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad because I'm like, I want you to eat, Rachel. Those sound so delicious, but like, god damn it, they're loud.
I'll put them away. I'm gonna have one more. I'll have one more. Hold on.
Just go ahead, right into the microphone. To all the people who were like writing us, be like, I feel like I know Rachel. Like, you know her a little bit more
Now you know me a little bit more. Check that one off the box.
Tick. Yeah.
So let's talk about the movie. So,
what was your quick review? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was it?
Wait, we're just gonna dive right in like that? I thought we were gonna talk about the movie.
That's what we're talking about. We already talked about that. Quick review. Go for it.
No. Okay, wait. So what the movie is actually, it follows 3 different subjects.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
People.
Stephen Chauncey from L.A.
Yeah.
The Decavita sisters in
from
Sweden. And Evita, and not even Michael, just her, which I thought was interesting.
Evita Arce was, I mean, to be fair, she partners with Michael a ton, and like he was like featured a lot, and like Nathan, and a couple other people. Like she's like her own force and her own story is I think his own thing instead of 2 people brought in.
That's
I think it was nice.
No, I thought it was good. I just found it interesting. I'm just saying that I thought it was interesting. And it follows those 3 couples predominantly over the course of maybe 3 or 4, possibly 5 years. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. I liked that it didn't give a specific time, so it was kind of like ambiguous that way.
Yeah.
But for us, like the people in the Lindy Hop scene, we kind of know what that span was. It was like a span of like 2 or 3 years.
Oh well, yeah, and plus like there was footage where I was like, oh, I see me. It was that year, like it was this event that year. Because I wore that dress or whatever.
Yeah, I have so many notes, and I have that. It's in like I even put the time code. It's 1 minute and 47 seconds in. You'll see Rachel shaking her butt at Lindy Focus.
Really?
Yeah.
1 minute 47 in?
1 minute 47 in.
Oh, maybe I missed that one.
Well, to be fair, I mean you saw it in the theater, right?
Yeah.
In a theater.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
I saw it this morning on my computer like a normal person.
Like a normal person. But so
continue. Like, so it follows these people.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, there are separate like subplots and sub themes that go around it, but those are like the 3 major subjects of the movie.
Absolutely, and I think it did very well because like one thing that a lot of people online are talking about, like on Facebook and in threads and about the movie, like Lindy Hoppers, they're talking about like the things they didn't cover in the movie, and it's just funny to me. But I'm like
what?
It's an hour and a half of like the regular social dancer, like the regular person, and not these people that are like Stephen Chauncey trying to be professional about it, or Evita who is a professional about it, and the Decavitas who are professional about it. Like, you know, like it had to do with more the people that are in the industry that is being created of Lindy Hop, as opposed to like the normal people, the hobbyist or just the social dancer or the people who go to the random things. And I'm like, yeah, of course, but that's like a whole nother subject. You know, like out of all the things they could have covered in this documentary, I feel like they covered the really important parts, as in like the history and the roots.
Yeah.
The from point of views, 3 different, very different point of views. And then talking to old timers, and then even talking about like the big topic that's being discussed in general right now is the African American not being represented very well in today's Lindy Hop culture. Yeah, and all that stuff that is very important to a lot of Lindy Hoppers right now. And I understand, and I totally agree. But I'm like, you can't tell that all the subjects you want in an hour and a half documentary.
I mean, for me, I watched the movie and I was like, yeah, I would say that that's a pretty accurate representation of what our scene looks like today.
Yeah.
Like, and like if I wanted to tell someone about what swing dancing is and about what the scene is and what the culture is, like I would show them this movie and feel comfortable with what kind of idea they would probably get from the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like one of the biggest things is a lot of Americans, I think, before they think of like the dancing aspect of it, the social dancing, and even maybe even before the music, when you bring up Lindy Hop or swing dancing, they think of the dance. Oh yeah, that's when we throw the girl in the air.
Exactly.
You know, I think for the majority part of people not in the Lindy Hop scene today, I think they'll probably think of it that way. And that's cool. They address that and they say, this is the guy who did it first.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, they should have been a little more, I mean, maybe said also, I want to say it's Anne, Frankie's partner at the time, but I think it was Naomi. And I forget exactly. I apologize, but I wish they would have said that in the movie too. You know, like the partner's name, the
Naomi,
actual person
do you mean
who flew.
Norma? You said Naomi.
No, yeah, Naomi. Oh. Naomi was Frankie's partner, one of many Frankie's partners when they were younger. Not Naomi Uyama.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you meant Norma.
No. Well, I was just saying to say like the Frankie was the first one to do the aerial, but also his partner was the one to actually go in the air. So maybe it was her aerial, you know, like it's that kind of back and forth. But anyways, again, I'm splitting hairs. But the thing is that's really cool is that they said that.
Yeah.
And they showed Frankie and he was just like, well, you know, I was just dancing. Like, you know, like he was just so like easy about it. Like, whatever, you know, it's just a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Did you, well, so let's keep like diving in then. Like what?
Yeah, of course.
What were things you did like? What were things you didn't like about the movie?
I mean, like I wrote so many notes. I wish you could see this. Like I put time codes and everything. Like it took me good. Look at like 3 hours, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Yeah.
So you, bro.
I mean, totes.
God.
I mean, I'm just gonna go through it. So like, the opening I thought was like really cool because it was kind of unexpected. Yeah. Like you hear you see one of the production companies like little logo at the front, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like after Magnolia, and you hear the drum beat, and you're like, "Fuck," you know that swing drum beat, you know, where you're just like, "Damn it, they're gonna go cheesy," and you know, like, well, that's not horrible because that is part of like the history, like the jazz drumming beat.
Yeah.
But it only lasts for like 5 seconds, and then it stops, and then it goes in this like
cuts.
really, it goes in this really soft like piano. And then it's all about it, and like Evita is like getting ready, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. They got me
when
immediately.
That happened, everybody burst out laughing in the theater. They thought it was really funny.
The drum?
Yeah.
The drums?
Well, no, when the drumming stopped, when it cut, everybody laughed.
Yeah. I'm glad.
It was a nice little psych out for
and I liked
us
it. I thought
insiders.
I thought it was great, but also because of the trailer. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, we talked about it twice already. The first trailer that came out, it was like sexy, right? And it was like really trying to like grab at everybody, not a specific person, just like grab at the general public.
Yeah.
And the second one that came out was like a lot better. Like, it was a
little bit more grounded.
Yeah, and so this the beginning, like it invokes that feeling from the first trailer where you're like, nah, I don't know about this, and then we see this opening that's like soft and emotional and like really, really well done. I was like, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And you know, and then the next thing I thought of was damn, Evita has a shit ton of shoes.
Yeah, she's got a crazy ton of shoes.
And then the fan service of fucking Steven Sayer with no shirt on doing his hair.
Oh God. Typical.
That was so fucking funny to me. I was just like, yeah, of course. Like, what do we have? Muscles McGee over here.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just gonna like go down the list.
Yeah.
And like see if it sparks anything. So, Rachel, like I immediately spotted you and what's his name? Fuck, I always forget his name. Kevin.
Oh.
It was you and Kevin in the jam circle at a Lindy Focus. I don't remember what year it was, but it's a minute and 47 seconds in there, and it's just you shaking your butt.
What color dress was I wearing?
Blackish with stuff on it.
Blackish with stuff on it.
I don't remember. I mean, like it was like blackish. It was definitely you. It was for sure you. It had to be you. Had the long hair again and everything. So,
man, I don't know. I didn't notice.
It was fast.
Yeah.
And again, I was like pausing it to like write notes and then going back
Well,
and then like
and there
playing
was
it and pausing
a
it and then playing
ton
notes.
of footage of you, like very prominent footage of you.
I mean, the funny thing is like, I mean, I'm not going to
And
keep it a
every
secret,
time you
like,
came on the screen, I said, "Yay, Mikey!
I mean,
Yay!"
I'm not gonna keep it a secret. Like as the filming of this was happening, I wasn't the biggest fan or supporter of the whole idea.
Really?
Just because of personal reasons that I just didn't know about it. I didn't know this person. I didn't know what her deal was or what was going
her intentions
on.
were.
So I just backed off and like I was like, there's plenty of other people that could talk about it, and they did. And the people they have on the interviews on this whole thing are like spot on. I really, really agree with, because again, the biggest idea of it is that it's a point of view. Like it is absolutely is not anything that's in the ballroom world. It's in a ballroom, but it's meant to be like a vocal history. So vocal histories change over time and experiences add to it. So it was a lot of different experiences and I really, really dug it. But like, again, like, you know, I wasn't the biggest supporter. Yeah. But again, it was just really funny to hear people go, "You're in it," and like, "You're super in it." I was like, "Really? I don't remember doing an interview or anything about it, but okay." You know,
there was a lot of footage of you.
Well, I remember that one. Like, there was what we're talking about is like I think 2011, 2010, ULHS and Ultimate Lindy Hop Showdown. And it was the blues contest with Evita. Yeah. And she's watching it and everything, and she's like saying like, I don't like her face is like, I love Susan's questions like, do when you watch that, do you think that's you or do you think that's someone else? And like Evita's like, I don't know, like it's just out there, like it's just it's part of me, and I know it, but it's like strange watching it afterwards. Yeah. I totally agree. It's like you go into this zone where it's like, it's not nirvana and it's not a trance. It's just like in this different zone. This like part of you comes out, especially in that contest, Dancing with Evita.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was very theatrical.
We have to be like, or else I'm just like a prop. So I have to be like in the world. I have to be in their world, especially when their world is bigger than mine. Yeah, and more vivid. Someone like Joe has that same kind of magic to her, like that I feel like, where especially dancing slow, where you have a little bit more time to like really flesh something out. But yeah, that part was really fun to watch, because I was like, shit, I haven't seen that in like a couple of years. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck were we thinking?
Oh man.
Every like so you think you could dance modern trick that I saw in there like came out in that contest. Yeah.
What else?
Let's see. I thought that another thing that was really weird was like how like there was a whole segment of like a minute and a half of like them going basically, technology is bad, horrible. Everybody's looking down. No one talks to each other. And Lindy Hop is good. Lindy Hop, everybody touches each other and dances with each other. Hey, Rachel, pause. No, don't pause your machine. But it's just so funny. You're holding the pretzel in your hand. Go ahead. Eat that. You've been so good. You deserve it.
I deserve it.
Technology is bad. Pretzels are bad. They're the devil. Lindy Hop is good. Yeah. Which is funny to me, because I mean, they hit this in another part of it too, where like it was like Lindy Hop and swing dancing was this sense for a lot of African Americans and maybe just a lot of kids in general at the time, teenagers, looking for rebellion, looking for this kind of feeling to go out and express themselves how they want to in the times that they live. Yeah. You know, and not have to worry about the rest of the world, which is so relevant nowadays. And I continually say this, like now with everything that's happening in the world matches those moments back then in the 1920s and 30s. Yeah. And 40s. And now is probably the best time to be a Lindy Hopper since then. Totally. But yeah, it was just really funny. I was like, technology's bad. I was like, Jesus.
I do have to say though that I thought the stock footage was not great. Like
the whole thing, or like especially that part. That was really funny.
The stock footage in general, and I know like stock
throughout the whole film.
Yeah, stock footage can be like very expensive to get a hold of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because they're a documentary and they're an indie film, like they had a much smaller budget, and they probably couldn't spend that much on stock footage. But it was just, it was so stark in contrast to what we were watching. Right. It didn't it didn't mesh
Didn't
well.
land for you, right?
It didn't. Yeah, no. Well, and the other thing was that at first I was looking at it and being like, wait, who is that? Do I know them?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought the same,
And then
especially
I
with the
was
first
like-
in those first couple minutes.
Yeah, the first couple shots, I was like, do I know that person? And then I
Yeah.
was like, no, this is stock footage.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like really lame stock footage.
Yeah, especially when Rusty like is explaining like this is a funny part too. Rusty Frank explains like when people go through their day and like how they go to sleep and they wake up and they go to work and
Yeah.
they come back home and they go watch Netflix and then they come back home and they
Yeah.
go to sleep and they do repeat. You know, like they showed that a few times in a row, and I was just like, oh my god, that was hilarious because I was thinking I was like, do I know that? Who does that? Oh shit, that's just stock footage.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I mean that definitely for sure. Like I think that was one of the sections for sure. The stock footage where it was like as dancers we don't identify with that because we were like what the fuck because like we get taken out. But I think as a normal viewer, an outside person from outside the Lindy Hop world, I think they wouldn't have known the difference.
I mean, I'm talking from more of like a technical perspective.
Right. Oh, of course. Like the whole like they tried to match it with all the other film that they had taken.
I just don't think that the stock footage they chose was, like it wasn't a very high quality, and it. I don't know. It was like too generic almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, absolutely. It didn't really take me out. The first couple shots took me out, but I feel by the end when they showed a couple of the more stock footage, by the end I just kind of like was like,
Well,
enough.
yeah. At that point,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is.
Yeah.
I know what this is.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. It was like really weird and jarring at first. There was I got to see my good friend Andrea Gordon. That was amazing. I didn't know she did a
yeah.
whole bunch of
She did a
interviews for
lot
that.
of interviews.
It was really good. It was really, really good because her point of view of it, still can hear it. Munch and crunch and munch and crunch.
Yeah, but it's not on the microphone. You're just hearing it because we're
Oh, that's
talking.
right. Damn it. That's right. That's true. Okay. Good point, Rachel.
One of us has to be smart around here. You know what I mean?
And that shit ain't gonna be me. So Andrea Gordon, she's so great. She had a foundation for a while trying to help at-risk youth to try to find Lindy Hop and use it as a tool for betterment for
Yeah.
themselves. And I don't know if it was at-risk youth, but I think some of it was at-risk youth, and then other parts were just trying to get African Americans into the community.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I support her. She's amazing. She's an amazing woman. She's a fabulous dancer and one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, I don't know. You've had some interactions with her. I know when you first moved out here.
Yeah, well, she and I were on the Atomic Cherry Bombs together, and that's
Yeah.
how we like mostly bonded.
Yeah, and I could just see you guys. Oh my God, we need to get her on the podcast. We need to get her here.
She's so
She
much
doesn't-
fun.
She's so much fun. I would love to see you guys interact, especially because you guys would just rip off each other so good.
time together.
I mean, such a great time.
It was like such a great time.
I thought it was really great that they explained a little further about like the swing dance bubble that like Kevin and Joe did.
Yeah.
You know, like Joe like put up her hands. I was like, that's a great way to put it because for people who don't know, like people think of swing dance. And if you really think about it, there is no the swing dance.
Yeah.
There are swing dances. You know, and there's swing dancing, which you do to swing music, and then it could be further explained into like West Coast swing that has swing and can sometimes not have swing.
Yeah.
But they had, they put in all the swing dances throughout the histories of like 1920s all the way till now.
Totally.
And I thought that was really great as a viewer and trying not to think of myself in the Lindy Hop scene. I think that was awesome. And then they went into like the roots of it, and then like they showed like a lot of historical footage, which was awesome too.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
I mean, a lot of it is available on YouTube, but to see it like that with the voiceovers and explaining the history, I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a great way to put it, and like for a lot of people who have heard of the Savoy but never actually known what the Savoy. Most of that historical footage, especially when they're dancing in the ballroom, that looks like they're dancing in a contest.
Yeah.
And the camera's zooming past a couple people, and it shoots shots of the bandstand. Like those are specifically shot in the Savoy ballroom. Like that's what it was. That's what it looked like. That is legitimately the Lindy Hop being done.
I did really appreciate seeing footage that I had never seen before. Like that was pretty exciting for me. Yeah.
The old stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That was really cool.
I mean, our culture nowadays kind of looks to the present and looks to the future, and the YouTube provides that immediately, and that's so great. But remember, like, fall into that rabbit hole, like a little bit past a couple of things, and you'll get to, like, not you personally. I'm talking to like the
right.
Rachel, why don't you watch the old films? Oh my god!
Because they're so old. They're in black and white. I like
color. Oh my gosh!
I like color.
You guys can't see it, but the upper lip thing that you do when you do that is fucking like
color. I don't move my upper lip. I just move the lower lip.
You've been in Hollywood too long. Too long. You know exactly what it looks like. Yeah. Hollywood. The upper lip doesn't move. The upper lip doesn't move.
When you get the extreme Botox, the upper lip never moves.
Oh, you guys, this is fucking hilarious. Oh god. And then the Frankie Manning and his revival, like Frankie Manning revival, not the revival.
Are you going through every single point of the movie? Is that what you're doing?
Almost.
Ooh, this is long. Okay. Do I need to
this
is the long haul here?
Yeah. I mean, we're just like fucking 30 minutes into this.
Okay. All right. All right.
But I want to hear your opinion, because like I just saw it this morning and you saw it like last week, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
I think my perspective is a little bit different.
Go for it.
And it's largely because as some of you may know, my husband Brett works at NBC Universal. He's in the Producers Guild. And we go to a lot of screenings, and movies are like his number one passion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's his favorite thing to do is watch a movie. And because of it, like we were talking about this last week with Shayna Worrell and Jason Swihart.
Yeah.
You know how like
Balboa dancers.
The Balboa dancers. You know how like when you are around someone who's very passionate about something and you're not you're not necessarily as passionate as they are, but you get a lot of knowledge from being around them so much. So then people look to you for knowledge. Like that's kind of what's happened to me is like I go to these screenings and I watch movies with Brett. And so like I have a lot of perspectives that I probably wouldn't have if I weren't with him. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Of course.
Okay. So these are my thoughts. I was pleasantly surprised at how many warm feelings the movie gave me. I thought it was really like, there were some really nice, warm, fuzzy moments. And it was like,
for sure.
It was lighthearted. It was fun. I thought it really captured like the magic of the dance really well. It
really did.
Some of the like the jam circle scenes or like the contest scenes, the footage was great. It was so cool to watch. Or like there was this one part, I think it was at ILHC, where Steve and Chauncey go out and they do their shine and then they get back in line and the camera is right up in their face.
Camp Hollywood. Camp Hollywood. Yeah.
Right as soon as they like get back in line and you get to see those initial reactions of like, how did we do in that moment?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like that was such a cool, like I thought that whole scene right there at Camp Hollywood, like their first time, like the first time you see Camp Hollywood and them competing, was so well done. And I think it encapsulated the feeling of being in a contest with a live band and a huge audience and like lights on you and like you're the only person in the room fucking dancing, you know, only people dancing.
Right.
And I thought that encapsulated so well, especially with those moments like you just said, like those like tight shots of them like chatting back and forth of like, yeah, good job, or like what's the next thing? Like
and you get to see like just the raw emotion. Like, I mean, you've been in so many contests and you know how like there can be so many outcomes when you go out there. Even if you feel like you're prepared, like sometimes things go wrong or like something pleasantly surprises you or like your energy drastically changes in the middle of your shine. And so when you get back in line, it's like this wave of emotion that flows over you that you're like, okay, do we do okay? Am I still alive? Let's calm down and prepare for the next shine, right?
Or like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, we did it. We nailed that one. Or like, shit, I almost missed that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just like so much like emotion pulsating through you, and so like I loved seeing those like the looks on their faces as they were like, it was just like such a thrilling moment for them.
Yeah.
And like there's one moment where you get to see like Steve's face, and his eyes are like all wild and crazy, like wow, we
Absolutely.
just did a thing.
I thought it was super cool. I mean, like the only little downsides of those times was when they had to use other music.
Oh.
You know, like in those contests, you know, like in some of the jams and stuff and some of the performances, like when they had to use other music. And I thought that was like, as a dancer, I was like, you know, like I had to push it away.
I actually didn't notice that.
I did a few because like for sure, like the contest I was in with video that was one of the songs.
That wasn't the song.
That wasn't the song we were dancing to. And then at that one right there with, it was funny because like you could hear it in the background, but then it was played at a different time. Like they take the track. And they didn't exactly line it up with the video. So like, while it was on beat, dancing on beat, like that Camp Hollywood footage we were talking about Stephen Chansey, like it's on beat, but it's a different part of the music. So like, and the audience are cheering at different times. So like, it was just a little interesting tidbit, but like, it still encapsulated the whole idea because for me, when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, that's off when I look at it, but like when I think about it, the whole experience is kind of jarring like that, where you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
You kind of black out a little bit. You kind of let impulse take over. And emotions are like super high. So you're running on adrenaline. And sometimes like I've had one time where I've ever blacked out from drinking too much ever in my life. But I've had many instances where I've gone out to a jam like that, where I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like I walk out and I'm like, wait, did we just do
something?
it? Did we do something? What happened? Was it good? Like, you know, like I had many instances like that. So in that respect, I was like, that's where I was like, wow, this really encapsulated the whole idea of being in a contest like that, where you're like laying shit on the dance floor and hoping it works.
Yeah.
Because I think Andrea said that too, because in her, it's just like, it's completely improvised. And you could plan, but you don't know what song you're going to get. You don't know what format you're going to get. You don't know if it's going to fit.
Yeah.
It's so true. So, like, even though you could plan all the time, all day long, 100%, like they showed Stephen Chansey doing, sometimes you don't know if it's actually going to fucking work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I also really liked how she had, like, 3 major storylines. However, I thought Stephen Chansey's was, like, the most developed and the most fleshed out. And what was cool about it was you got to see them go from like being advanced dancers to trying to like push their way into being professional dancers.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see the progression. However,
especially
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just one little thing, like especially when they went to ILHC one year and they kind of like fucked it up, and then they went back the next year and they killed it. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it was completely true. Like
it was. They got slaughtered.
It wasn't that good. And then the second year they went, they like totally killed it for sure.
However, like I didn't think that either Evita's or Rebecca and Emily's storylines were that strong because nothing changed. Like Evita was just like, she's a professional dancer and this is what she does and this is how she carries through her life. Do you know what I mean?
I think that was but I think that was the point. That it didn't need to change for Evita. Like Evita was like moving through different parts and different aspects and showing you what it is to be like at that level. And then I feel like Rebecca kind of had a thing with cancer, and that's a big change.
That is a big change, but it didn't happen chronologically. They like they put that in towards the end. So in a chronological sense, that didn't make sense. And also like from
the timeline kind of way.
From a professional standpoint, like we didn't really get to see how like their careers as Lindy Hoppers progressed or changed. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like
absolutely.
we had very intimate knowledge of like how Stephen Chansey's progression into professionalism changed.
Right. You know, one thing I liked I absolutely agree. Like you're right. Like it was more timeline, like absolute chronologically for them, a little bit off for Evita and a little bit off for Emily and Rebecca. But you know what was funny was that they crossed at times,
Yeah.
You know, it was watching 3 different reality shows, and then all of a sudden, like they have they cross, and then they crossed over.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well,
I thought that was
very
really cool.
That was very cool.
I thought, and that was also very cool that they captured Steve and Steven Sayer and Evita Arce having their first dances together.
Yeah, that was
I
cool.
thought that was super fucking awesome because like that was with a whole section of social dancing.
Yeah.
That was one of the tugged on my heartstrings, like emotional like pieces. I was like like the way she said it, the way they filmed it, and the way they said it, everything about it, and even the way like at the very very last shot where they're like, yeah, we'll all see you next time we see each other. You know, who knows when that's gonna be on the road. You know, and they're like, yeah, and then they both walk off the screen in 2 different ways.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, that was cool. Like that's exactly what happens all the time on the social dance floor.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was really great. The only other there were 2 other things. Yeah. I thought structurally, I thought that the movie was not super strong.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Mostly in its transitions. Like like we were talking about like warm and fuzzy stuff, and then all of a sudden we see like doom and despair right after Katrina. And you're and you're taken aback, and you're like, wait, what does this have to do with swing dancing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like all this stock footage of like people crying and suffering.
The sound of alarm and the thing, I was like, I knew exactly what that meant, but like, yeah, it was just like, it was a little jarring. Like they should have the voiceover like a little bit sooner, because they perfectly explained it but like a minute after the fact of like all those images where you're like, this brings me out of the movie. This is scary.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I think that they could have smoothed out the transitions a little bit better.
Yeah, I think especially with that part right here with the Katrina part, like they explain it. They're like you know, after Katrina, a bunch of musicians and a bunch of dancers started to move down there, and they tried to revitalize the whole idea of jazz and the jazz dance movement. And I was like, that's a perfect sentence right there. But they should have done it way earlier, like a minute earlier. Like I was like,
yeah, I don't like I don't know what would have made it better. I just know that like I watched it and I was like, oh God.
It was jarring. It was jarring. Yeah,
it was
definitely
very jarring.
I definitely had the same idea for sure.
And then my last major note is that some of the music, like some of the stock music that they used, was so over the top cheesy that I thought it degraded the severity of the topic at times.
Like what?
The thing that comes to mind the most was the piece on Augie. And I thought his story was really compelling. And I know Augie, and I'm friends with Augie. And it was like I was like sitting in the theater with him, and it was such a vulnerable moment for him to say those things on camera for potentially, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of people to watch. And I thought that the music that was chosen for his part, like, almost devalued what he said. It was too cheesy. Yeah. And what he was saying was, like, so profound. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely, yeah, totally. That doesn't like stick out in my head, but absolutely, like I can. Some of the music choices in general were just like a little bit off, but it was one of those things where it's like maybe you shouldn't have had any music, but like maybe they did it already one way. I mean, so many different factors for that, but for sure, like I remember that being like I wasn't at that point. I was just like, I'm listening to Augie's voice. Like I'm listening to Augie's voice.
That's what I was doing too. I was like, I'm listening to Augie right now.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is I remember I think he did 2 tours.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And between the 2 tours, I remember when he came back, he had just started getting into the scene.
Yeah.
And me and my cousin and this other guy, my cousin Josh and this other guy named Mike Lopez, we started to do I think I was Saturday late night, like starting at 10 p.m. We would do late night Lindy at Memories, at the new Memories that's at Whittier. And that's when Augie started to come around. and he would talk my ear off.
Really?
I mean, no disrespect, like, but he was just like such like, I'm so happy to be here. Like, I was just like, okay, cool. Oh, I'm so happy. This is so great. Oh, oh my god. And I was like, okay, cool. And then one night I remember we were sitting on the stage, and he starts chatting me about like, like this and this and this is my story. I was like, oh shit, I get why you're so excited.
Yeah.
Like this is legitimate excitement and happiness that like life is wonderful. Like, and that's only informed because like for me personally, like that was the experience. I remember just going like, who is this kid? Like, who's this kid coming on? And then I was, oh shit. And then ever since then, because I don't know if he knows or not, because as soon as he came back, like he shook hands like a fucking 10-foot tall giant. Like,
really?
Yeah, I mean, he still kind of does. Yeah, he's still got a strength and dexterity in his hands that is just unrivaled. And every time I shake his hands or anything, and it's always like, oh fuck, you're strong. Like,
you're really strong.
You're real strong. and that's one of the things. That's one of the things I remembered. Like, it just took me back to that moment where I was like, shit. Like, I remember it was sort of dark, and the place wasn't the greatest dance venue, but then. Like the dance floor was awesome, and anyways, so I remember him when he first came into the scene, and like I can definitely see the light in his eyes as he watched and danced. So that was really, really moving for me. I mean, again, like for sure, like the transitions could have been smoother from topic to topic, but like I think the topics themselves were strong. Like, and I feel like at that time, like they were really, really encapsulated the idea of like. Not only and this is the thing is this is where I fight back and forth in my head where I'm like, well, that didn't make sense because that happened before this and that happened. I was like, but the way it like kind of like moved from one point to another, that is like no the regular way of saying it from chronologically, in a timeline won't make any sense. But the way they did it right here meant like kind of ebbed and flowed good enough to keep me interested.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. Especially in a documentary, like things don't need to happen in a chronological order for me when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But from when we're transitioning from one topic to the next topic, like it, like, okay, for example, some of the smoother transitions happened with those like small vignettes of Jeremy and Laura. Those like slow motion.
Those are so cool.
Those were really cool.
Admit, those are so fucking cool.
I thought those were some of the smoother transitions. And I think maybe what happened was she went out and shot all of this footage, and then she came back and she was like, okay, this is what I have. Now I have to like figure out a way to put it all together. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like having absolutely. Maybe a more fleshed out idea of what she was going to be shooting.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like there's no real good way of doing it. Like that's the thing. It's like that. I again, like my limited understanding of like film and like the ways to tell a story, because this documentary is still telling a story.
Yeah.
Like everyone that has any little bit of knowledge will have an opinion about it for sure.
Totally.
Like that was just the one thing that like the jarring feeling for the music for you was like the transitions for especially from topic to topic. One of the coolest topics in there that I never really thought about until Rusty said it was like the resurgence that happened in the 80s that spanned through the 90s. Like there was one in the 80s that like really started everything that like started the flow up until the 90s.
Yeah.
And then like how everything kind of snowballed. Like I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. So one of the things was like in the early 80s, like VHS tapes.
Oh yeah.
And then VHS tapes and like all the old studios being like, well, let's re-release all of our movies that are classics and everyone wants to see on VHS. And I'm like, holy shit, that is right. And then like the 90s picking up on that, like the old mentality of old films, like Swing Kids, and then the Swingers, and then encapsulating itself in the Gap commercial, right? Like bringing it from way back then to sort of now, and then right now, as in the Gap ad.
Yeah,
and then the idea that like during those times, like bringing Frankie back out, his revival with Aaron Stevens and of course Stephen Mitchell, and then his whole idea, because when you think about it, the big events that we go to, some of them aren't around anymore, some of them are just in a different way. The big events that we go to were created to bring out Frankie.
Yeah.
and he kind of created an industry that like is thriving now in the sense of like putting on a big dance event somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's because like they were trying to invite Frankie and have live band and then maybe let's have a contest and also like maybe let's invite local instructors and like let's invite national instructors.
Yeah.
Oh, Frankie, I can't make Frankie. Let's just get international instructors like come over. So like it started this whole like snowball idea from like the simple idea like saying like it's VHS tapes that kind of like really got this started in the 80s and then snowballed into the 90s and then became this huge thing in the early 2000s. I thought that was really cool. Like that was enlightening for me.
Yeah.
As
I
like
thought
a
that
long
was
time
very
addict.
cool.
Yeah. The whole I mean like the whole blues thing that was really funny for me to watch because I was like, oh. I was like, no, I mean not blues in general. The blues of watching myself dance. Like that's what I mean. I'm like blues in general, like whatever. Fucking so many opinions out there.
I actually
could care
thought it
less,
was
but-
really cool that she touched on blues dancing.
Yeah.
But I'm not a part of the blues scene, but I have a feeling that the blues scene will not be particularly receptive to how she portrayed the blues scene because how it was portrayed, I think, is how it wants to be portrayed by Lindy Hoppers, but it is not how the blues scene may actually be. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. I mean, I know there was Sharon gave a little bit of a outline of what blues dancing is for the modern scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like with the inclusion of kind of like having Hillary being like, it's kind of icky. Like she prefaced it by saying like, you know, she's like, everybody like, there's people that like it, you know, but she's like, I'm just like one of those people that just goes like, not for me, icky.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I think that's, it probably won't be received very well from Blue Stream, but like, whatever. At the same time, like,
whatever.
Just like the whole film is not gonna be fucking well received by the whole Lindy Hop scene. There's gonna be people that are going like, "What about this?" and "What about that?" And it's like that's in part 2. Like, you know,
part 2,
alive and kicking and still doing shit like.
Still alive and kicking slightly lower.
I mean, that is
my hips are stiffer.
That's the working title, absolutely. There was another part in here that I really liked that they talk about the old timers.
Yeah.
As in like the originators of the dance. And that's where they brought in some of the ideas of of like the California old timers.
Yeah.
So not just like the Lindy Hoppers, but like the ones that were Balboa dancers and later learned some sort of Lindy Hop. And how like Hillary said, she's like, I met these people when they were in their late 70s and 80s, and I thought, man, they're gonna be gone soon. And then like 15 years later, they're still around.
They're still here.
Yeah, and then even though like in there, she posted some stuff that, or she said like, here's Jean Veloz, here's Norma, and then there's Frankie who's passed away, and then there's Ray Hirsch who's passed away, there's Frida Angelou who's passed away. Like I was like, oh man,
who have all recently passed away since the start of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things I was hoping to have maybe like a little. I mean, it's so easy to say in hindsight and because I'm not part of the editing process or whatever, but it's just be like, you know, Frankie has passed away, Ray has passed away, Frida's passed away, Dawn has passed away. You know, like it could have been one of those things where at the very end it's like memorializing them and like just playing them. I mean, actually, sorry, they did for Frankie. They did for Frankie actually.
The thing though is that like this movie is for us, but it is not just for us. You know? And so doing something like that is like a little too nichey because like if you do a memoriam, people are going to be like, who are these people?
Yeah, but I mean, you just saw them.
Yeah, but for the
people that were in the film.
Right, but for the average viewer who is not a swing dancer, like that is just not going to be
totally understandable.
Worth their while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, to be fair though, like they showed Frankie's gravestone, so they basically imply the fact that he had passed away, and then they had talked to Judy. But I mean, that's just one way. I mean, again, like it's just one of those things where it's just like, you know, I don't know. In my head, it's one of those ones that's like. It's like to finish the thought of the topic of like respecting the old timers. It's like it falls under that same idea for me. But that's just for me. Yeah. But I completely understand. It's like it's not gonna make any sense for people that have no emotional investment into the whole idea of sing dancing or Lindy Hop.
Yeah.
And what these people meant to the dance.
Yeah. Do you, my favorite thing about the movie is that it's a movie. Like, they completed it.
Yeah.
It's out there. It got picked up by a distribution company.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it and didn't hate it. And like, even,
exactly.
and even like enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, and like I want to say that all of my notes for the movie are pretty nitpicky, and like I wouldn't have those notes if I was like, man, this movie sucked. Like, that would be the end of the conversation.
Exactly. But that's what makes it so great, is that I'm sure shit tons of people are having this conversation, but like we get to have it in front of microphones and like have those 6 other people hear us. You know?
Yeah, totally. And I think like because it's like a double-edged sword. Like, the movie is good enough to be considered a real movie, but because it's considered to be a real movie, you have to look at it in terms of what you consider a good real movie to be. And so in that sense, like, I don't think it's large enough to be considered a really good documentary. Like, it's not like Jiro Dreams of Sushi. That documentary is stunning.
Yeah.
But I think it holds its own.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I mean, I kind of knew going into it, it was going to be a snapshot of the modern Lindy Hop scene.
Of course.
But in hindsight, for me, like those years that it portrays aren't the best for me personally. Aren't the best in my lifetime, like in my life. Like,
right.
I remember, like, it took me a second, like I was like remembering all those moments, like even like during that blues contest, there was some like shit happening in my like right after
your
that
life.
Yeah, that I was like not super proud of, and I'm just like, oh fuck. But that's the thing. That's as a documentary, like it did bring me to a spot where I was like, holy shit, like it really brings me back, and to speak on whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. But like what it speaks on is that it held on to me, like the movie got me,
right, and
then I was able to add my own context to it, and so that made it personal for me, which is sort of the idea of the dance.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like, and I really, really respect it for that, actually.
So if you were to rate the movie 1 through 5, Frankie flips. How many Frankie flips would you give it?
This is the moment where I wish we were on video, that we could be like put little Frankie flips on the bottom of the screen. Bing, bing, yeah, exactly. I would give it. Oh fuck! Like my initial idea is to like give it a 4, but like 4.5 I think is good. Like that last half is just the encapsulation of like everything that I wish was in there.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give it a full star off, you know. Like I was like half. I'm like, yeah, so like 4.5 stars, I think, for me.
Okay,
4.5 Frankie flips. 4.5 Frankie flips.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
What would you give it?
I mean, I feel very torn. Like the Lindy Hopper in me was like, that was fun. 4 Frankie flips for sure. Yeah. The movie critic side of me is like, the movie left some things to be desired. Like, it's a movie, but I would have liked to see like some stuff from a more stronger technical point.
Give it a number. Go ahead.
So
it's okay.
I'm gonna give it. Don't worry, it's not. I'm gonna give it 3.5 Frankie flips.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be 3.5. I knew it.
It's not bad. That's not a bad
review.
It's not
bad.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Still good.
I mean, right now on IMDb,
Metacritic,
IMBD, it's giving it 75, so 7.6 out of 10, and then on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting 99% from audiences, and it's getting 100% on Tomato, but that's because it's only Lindy Hoppers who have watched it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there actually, when you go down to the reviews, there's people that aren't Lindy Hoppers that watched it.
Really?
There's people from Los Angeles Times,
yeah.
Washington Post, Village Voice, Hollywood Reporter.
Oh yeah, of course, Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, and it doesn't sieve all their ratings, but the ones from the Washington Post gave it 3 out of 4.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, it's not bad, and it's getting great reviews. I think for portraying Lindy Hop. I think the biggest idea is this. Is we have to take it almost literal in the sense of the name, alive and swinging. So like,
it's alive
one
and
thing
kicking.
is alive and kicking. Let's take it. Let's learn
the name of the movie once
Let's learn the
and for
name.
all.
To be fair,
Alive
what
and
the fuck?
Kicking.
I kept even though when the name came out, I still called it Alive and Swinging because I like that just like sounds better to me. Like Alive and Kicking. But to be fair,
it's so good.
To be fair, what I was gonna say was gonna be real good. I promise. It's alive, as in like it's still around. It's not that old timey thing. It is a part
Right.
of it, but it's not. It's still in the now and the present.
It's not dead.
And kicking means it's still thriving.
Exactly.
You know, it's still thriving in this new way, and that's what I think Evita really encapsulated in her whole section was like, is that this is how it's kicking, this is how it's growing.
I have to say
I'm able to live around the world now.
I really loved the things that Evita had to say.
She's really good at words.
I thought they were wise and profound.
Yeah.
And they really touched me. And I loved watching her, and I loved listening to her on camera.
Yeah.
I just wish that her storyline that had been created for her was like better fleshed out.
Yeah, beginning, middle, end for sure.
Yeah.
When she talks about social dancing and the spiritual side of Lindy Hop of like walking into the cathedral that is the Avalon Ballroom, like that was really cool.
That rang so true for me. That like hit me so close to home.
I think that's gonna hit a lot of dancers out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Like that section for sure. Like, I feel like they nailed it with the social dancing part of it. Like that topic right there was like completely well done. And that was probably my favorite part. One thing we have to talk about that we bagged on before was the swing dancing.
Swing dancing? Swing dancing. Swing dancing.
In the trailer, that part is like so weird, but in context, in the movie, when Rusty's talking about her accident and being in the halo.
Oh my God, I had no idea that she was in that accident.
Yeah. I remember dancing with her. It was, I
If you haven't seen the movie yet, Rusty talks about how she broke.
Spoiler alert!
She broke her neck.
Yeah.
Swing dancing.
In Ace in the Hole. It was the one where like straddle the front and then like jump around the back, and then she went all the way down to the floor. But yeah, luckily I think it was when they were practicing, not when they were like out in the social dance or anything. But I remember dancing with her when she had the halo. It was like 1999 or 2000. I can't remember exactly. And it was at the U.S. Open.
That's the neck brace, right? Where it like keeps your head straight.
Yeah, it keeps. Yeah, it basically it's like holds onto your shoulders on either side, and then like 4 pipes go around like an iron thing or a metal thing around your head, meant to keep your neck and head in one place. And like screws and all in your head. So she was dancing with
into your head.
Yeah, to keep your head completely still.
No, I thought it just sat on your head.
You could be right.
It can't
I'm no
screw
doctor.
into your head. It goes into that's like your skull. There's no who has fat right here. That's just your skull.
I mean, do you know what
brain.
happens when a brain can get swelled because it hits your skull too hard?
Yeah. That's a
Do
concussion.
you know how when it gets really bad they have to like screw a hole into your head just so to relieve the pressure?
It? I didn't realize. I mean, I feel like maybe I knew that, but
it's
they would have to screw really far into your head because your brain is so deep inside there.
Oh, Rachel. So good. But let me tell my fucking story.
Okay,
Jesus.
sorry, I'll shut up now. Continue.
I'm like, okay, let me. So our dancer, and she had the halo on, and she had like little like fake ivy and like lights on it sometimes. Like she would like light it up. She would be like a fucking Christmas tree every once in a while.
That's very cute.
But the funny thing was that she would still dance. She would still go out there and dance. Nothing was going to stop her.
Well, and they have footage of her doing that.
Yeah, and but the thing was like she would tell you the rules, like no hands over the head, no like this, no moves like this, and then you
Yeah.
dance with her. And it was so much fun. Like I remember like that was my first like interaction with her was with the halo on. Like that's how I first met Rusty.
Wow.
And but like so then she goes into the context of like why swing dancing, like the reason why she said it's like it makes sense
Yeah.
in that context. Like in the trailer, I was like, God, yeah, of course it does, Rusty. Come on. And then when you see it, like, oh, Rusty, I get it. I completely understand.
I had a student in Albuquerque who used to be a drug addict.
Yeah.
And had gone to the hospital several times because of overdosing. And they started swing dancing and they like basically quit cold turkey. They were doing like narcotics, like very, very intense drugs. And
have you
and they like went from being a drug addict who was like stealing and getting arrested and having overdoses to getting clean, getting a degree in nursing, and now being a registered nurse.
Fuck, that's awesome. That's
and
so
is like
cool.
a scene leader now.
That is,
and they lost like 30 pounds.
That is completely the idea of what they were trying to say in this movie. Like that is so cool. Like I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that have a story like that.
Yeah.
But also like it's even better to hear about it because it's inspiring. It makes me want to like push out there and be a better teacher just in case like there's a person out there that needs that like helping hand.
Yeah.
And being like, you're good at this one thing. And you never know when that little nice thing that you say to somebody in a dance class where that makes them feel so vulnerable and so awkward. And you're like, hey, you're doing a great job. And you're like, yay.
Yeah.
I could do this one thing. Maybe I should like not do all these harmful things in my body.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I have so much respect for this person. Like I can't even imagine how difficult that was or like how powerful learning Lindy Hop must have been for them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing is really cool, like that I just want to touch on that I thought was really great was the last two parts of the film, which was like touching on Frankie's legacy of like how he instilled so much like just happiness all over the world and like with his dance events and his teaching, his style of teaching, his style of social dancing. Like I thought that was beautiful. Like we today in the modern Lindy Hop scene, again, like I said before, in like the 80s and moving through the 90s, owes a lot to Frankie. Not just the aerial part of it, not just the dance part of it, but the mentality and the fucking industry that we live in nowadays where we're able to grow and thrive. And the last thing is the universal connection in the modern Lindy Hop scene, as in like they talk about like if you're a Lindy Hopper in this part of the world, you can go to total opposite part of the world and find Lindy Hoppers, and just because you're Lindy Hoppers, you're basically family.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true.
I thought it's completely true, and for a lot of us that are in the dance scene, for sure, it's going to speak even truer. They're like, we're all going to have that moment of like, yup, yeah, yeah, like that definitely thing. But that's so cool. Like it's inspiring for maybe non-dancers that be like, this is a community that is alive and kicking, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
like
I think
it's
most
living it now.
I feel like most Lindy Hoppers have a story of going to an event or traveling to a city for an event where they didn't know anyone or they were staying with somebody they didn't know or whatever, and by the end of the weekend you feel like you're good friends with that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that they do touch on that. That's another thing they touch on the social dancing part. Like you're good friends with these people now because you have this like sort of like intimate moment that we don't really have anymore. Not necessarily due to I think in my personal opinion, it's not personally due to the fact of technology. I think it's just due to people growing separate, growing different ways, and there's more people and more accessible. So now we are actually able to touch somebody that we talk to. Like I just told you about this like person that I'm talking to online. I've never met this person, but they're a dancer, and I'm just like, wow, this is really cool. I'm connecting with them before I even get a chance to dance with them. And then I bet when I dance with them, it's going to be even better because I'll have, an understanding. And the funny thing is you know what? Like that's actually just me in general.
Yeah.
Like recently, like I've told you, we talked about this before, like how my social dancing is really what I'm really focusing on, like
Yeah.
more than performance, more than teaching right now. It's just my social dancing, and it's in the aspect of like I'm talking more to people. I'm trying to be more open to people, just so I can have more of an experience. So that way, when I step onto the dance floor, I'll have all this context with people that I've met and people that I've had real good discussions with.
Yeah.
And then I can dance with them better because I have a better feeling of it. And I feel like that's just goes hand in hand with the idea of the universal modern Lindy Hop scene, is that we're all connected because of this dance, but I bet you we can find more connections in it because of this dance.
Totally. Also, you and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be friends if it weren't for the dance.
Damn right. I can't even. I don't even know what I would do without the
Squishy
Rachel.
feels. So much squish inside.
I mean, if it wasn't for Lindy Fest and the late night dances and the
Lone
and the Fed
Star.
and hanging out at the on the stairs,
Yeah. Wow.
No podcast. None of you.
podcast.
All you six people listening to us would have nothing to do at work. You'd probably be listening to like fucking NPR podcast
No,
or This American Life for the fifth
Ew.
time.
Give me a break.
Ew. Freakonomics.
That's like so gross. Is that NPR organic certified?
Actually, another podcast you should probably listen to that I thought is really, really great is Adam Ruins Everything.
Oh, well, I have seen
It's real
I've
good.
like watched the internet.
If you remotely like the idea of the show, the podcast is much better.
Really?
Yeah, isn't this because they don't take it to an entertainment standpoint? They take
Yeah.
it to informational standpoint, and I think Adam is a really good host.
Yeah.
Because he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's like engaging. He's charismatic.
Yeah.
He's charismatic without being like the comedian or actor that he is. You know, he's like he's like a good host and asks really good and thoughtful and questions with people that he has on the show that are like legitimate professionals in whatever field they're looking in. Like you know, like they have scientists on there, or they have people that have studied history. You know, historians rather.
Yeah.
And then they have him on his podcast, and they're able to talk for an hour about that subject.
That's
and
cool.
It's really, really cool. So it's
I probably
charismatic.
would enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that listens to a podcast, I think listens to it for information.
Yeah.
A new
Totally.
way of like gobbling up that information and like retaining it somehow.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the good shows that does it. Our shows doesn't.
YQY. Absolutely.
So what's your bright side, Rachel? What's your bright side for this week?
Oh man, I was really on the fence about going to see the movie, but I'm glad that I did, and I am glad that I went and saw it in the theater with all the other Lindy Hoppers, because I think it made it a better experience for me.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
It was nice seeing everybody else like so excited about it.
That's cool. I mean, you were talking about it like you said they're like you said you had a story about the screening.
They everyone showed up like they were going to a nice dance, like they were all dressed vintage. And Brett and Emily Martin and I like showed up together in our jeans and t-shirts, and we were like, "Oh, we are clearly underdressed for this occasion."
Well, let's just put it this way though. Like you guys at least everybody dressed in the way how it's done nowadays, as in like there's people from like suits and dresses and fascinators and fucking nice polished shoes.
Yeah.
And then there's jeans and sweatshirts. Like, you know, like
Well, I don't go
that's the
dancing
modern
in
scene.
jeans and sweatshirts usually.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. That's the modern scene. So
Yeah.
I think that was great that you guys did it, to be fair.
I mean, also like we've been to that theater a million times for other screenings, and we go to a ton of screenings, and most of the time, like, I don't want to dress up for that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like,
going to be cold. Bring a sweatshirt.
Unless we're going to like a night, like sometimes, okay, like when we went to the one where there was a Q&A with Meryl Streep, I was like, all right, I'm going to wear like my nicer t-shirt.
My nicer t-shirt.
I got a nicer t-shirt that I'll wear.
You got your t-shirts. You got your
shoes.
You got your t-shirts. You got your nice t-shirts, and then you have your nicer
t-shirts.
Did you get popcorn to watch the movie?
Chat. We got popcorn that we split between the three of us, and a Toblerone.
Nice.
And
Good.
we may
Make the
have
movie
gotten ice cream
experience.
afterwards.
For sure. That's the whole movie experience. And that's the thing that I missed out on, like, as I was afterwards, as I was kind of like thinking about the movie I just seen, because I just saw it this morning. I was like, shit, it would have been really nice to see this with other people, but I'm really glad I got to see it by myself and have my own thoughts about it, and then be able to catch up with you on all that stuff. But I think my bright side for sure,
Yeah, boo.
is that I'm glad it didn't suck.
Oh man,
I'm so glad it didn't suck.
Thank God for that. Thank God.
Absolutely.
I really did not. I didn't want to hate it. I didn't want to. You know what I mean?
Neither did I. Like, I really did not want to hate it.
But I was preparing for worst case scenario.
Yeah, even though I personally did not super support it, and I'm glad people did. But at the end of the day, like, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's only going to do good, and
yeah.
And I'm glad it did. So thank you, Susan, and everyone who donated to the GoFundMe or Kickstarters that they had started in there. So
totally,
yeah, it was fucking awesome. Go watch it. It's on Amazon. It's on iTunes. And it's on another one. I don't know. I want to say Vimeo, but I don't think it's Vimeo. Some other
I don't
instant. It's some other instant
I
kind of
don't know
thing.
that stuff. You know me and technology. We don't get along all the time.
You guys do not talk well. You guys don't play well together.
We don't play well together.
But yeah, and I think that's gonna wrap it up for us this week on the bright side.
From us to you. Bye.
Bye.